So the first step to get a project started is to register the project with the Clean Energy Regulator. So in order for us to do that, the first step for us is to receive this consent to register commitment to implement document. Essentially what this document does, it gives us the authority to go ahead and register a soil organic carbon project on your behalf. And there's a few key things that we collect in this document at this point in time. Primarily, what we're trying to establish here is 5 years of baseline history for the property. And this is at a high level. So this is roughly, how many stock have you run over the past 5 years? What have your inputs been over the past 5 years? Really what we're trying to establish here is a baseline emissions profile for the property. So in taking part in one of these projects, you get a really good insight into that emissions profile of your project across this baseline period and going forward, tying in the carbon sequestration to that. So part of that is that 5-year management history. The other part of this document, which is important, is the commitment to implement one of the eligible activities. And this is what Scott was speaking to in terms of that implementation side of things. There's a list of multiple activities in there. And at this point in time, we're asking you to commit to implementing one of those. And as Scott mentioned, it's not a dramatic change in your system, as long as we are doing something that is either new or materially different. So that might be changing the frequency, intensity, or duration of a chosen management activity on the property to satisfy that requirement. It's important to note here too that our growth and customer success teams will work very closely with you during the completion of this document to make sure that we are capturing all the required information to successfully register these projects with the Clean Energy Regulator. Part of this process too is we actually establish a satellite-derived benchmark for your property. We use something called normalized difference red edge data, which is basically a proxy for plant health. And we use that to assess material change in plant health on the property after implementing one of those chosen eligible activities going forward for the project. And that really helps us look at lead indicators for soil organic carbon sequestration for these projects going forward post baselining. The other key thing here is we do obtain land title information. That helps us to map the project area initially and to configure the project. In most cases, for any properties that are larger than, say, 300 hectares, we'll probably register multiple individual projects rather than a single project. And we work this configuration process through with everybody as we go through the registration stage. Once we have all that information, we handle the registration submission with the Clean Energy Regulator. Once that's lodged, that basically unlocks our ability to move forward to the next stage, which is setting the project up for baseline sampling.